happy right now. They're up 6-1.
They like the television, don't they?
I tell you, it was interesting. We were getting ready and we were getting our notes all set up for this game. Dave and I were working on our notes, and we had about 15 little guys around us. And we looked around. Every one of them, it said Perry Hall, Perry Hall. It was like they'd never seen a television before. But I tell you, all the fans here have been very appreciative and very cooperative, and some of them have been very thirsty, and I think she's very selective right now.
For Sterling Heights,
trying to
now
find
on the mound,
quench the thirst.
It's a good place to be today.
Mid-80-degree afternoon as we move into the top of the fourth inning of play. And we take a look at our roster. Number 23
leading
now
off the
into
top
pitch
of the fourth inning
for Sterling
number
Heights.
23, Matt Tanner.
That's Kurt Osterhout. Kurt Osterhout now into pitch. So Osterhout will pitch, and the first batter that he will face here will be his opposing number in the person of number 23, Matt Tanner. There you see Kurt. 4'4", 70 pounds, a fifth grader at Alumni Junior High. Squares the bunt and he takes a strike.
Strike one.
One and one.
You know, Randy, you see the pitcher out here just come in for the Sterling Heights team. He's stretching as a relief pitcher would. And you see a lot more of this now in the upper levels of baseball, where pitchers, instead of winding up with no one on, are actually throwing out of the stretch.
Is this surprising to see at the age of 10?
Well, no, because you see all kinds of different mechanical ways that the kids throw. But I would think, you know, if he continues on as a pitcher, he'd want to work out of a full windup as well.
And this could be a leadoff to someone like us who have not had a chance to see these teams except in this tournament, that perhaps Mr. Osterhout has pitched just basically in relief all season, and he is used to that stretch position and just feels more comfortable working out of that.
Well,
there's a strike.
Use what works for you.
I tell you. Well, they might not have scored a lot of runs right now, but they have struck out the opposition. That's strikeout number 6 for the Sterling Heights pitching. Greg Kempiste, while he was in there, struck out 5, and now Kurt Osterhout picks up his first strikeout. That brings up second baseman Mike Pastore, who made a great play to end that bottom of the third inning of play.
He's a trim youngster, isn't he?
I got nicknamed the thinnest announcer in the world the other day, too. I was reading that at 6 foot and 133 pounds. For my size, they said I was the thinnest. I was hoping that maybe we could get someone like Mary Lurette and put her on stilts or something like that, and that would make me the thinnest. At least they said thin and not lightweight.
2-1.
2-1 the count now on Mike Pastore. Pastore's third time up already in this game here in the fourth inning of play. Pastore struck out his first time up, doubled and scored. And there's a strike.
2-2 the count.
2-2 the count right now. Championship game of the Continental Amateur Baseball Association World Series for 10 and under. I'm Randy Reinhardt along with Dave Fay, Ron Golden, and Mayor John K. Francis, the Honorable Mayor of Reynoldsburg. Stefani at third. The throw across in time. Nice play by Stefani.
1 down. 2 down.
Out number 2.
2 away.
5-3 if you're scoring at home. Brings up shortstop Tim Elliott. Elliott 1 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. Check with a single and a strikeout. There's a strike, 0-1 from Osterhout. Osterhout on the mound is a very versatile player, too. He can play the outfield positions along with pitch. And I tell you, he's got very good velocity for someone just 4 feet 4 inches.
Yeah, he's bringing it in there pretty good. As you say, he's not a real big young man, but he looks confident standing out there, doesn't he?
200 down the lines, 220 to that center field. Left side, and a foul ball just past the line. Umpires again for this game behind the plate. Jack Kasai down the first base line. Mark Zarenko down the third base line. Fred Shaw. Mark Zarenko was umpiring earlier this week and was wearing his blue knit Kiana shirt. Is probably the best dressed umpire out here. Did not make Mr. Blackwell's worst dress list, I'll tell you that. Let's put it that way. There's a drive to left center field. It's out of here. Home run.
All the way around.
Jim Elliott got all of that fastball and hits it out for a home run. And now Perry Hall takes a 7-1 lead.
As he comes around and hits home plate, some congratulatory from his teammates. Home run by Tim Elliott.
Tim Elliott makes it 7-1, and he hit that one a good 200
Number
feet.
32.
He got that just over the fence in left center field, and now it's a 6-run lead for Perry Hall. With 2 outs, that brings up first baseman Tom Dugas, and he's familiar with that area of the field because yesterday that's where he hit his grand slam home run.
He's quite capable. He's a healthy-looking young man.
Always makes me feel bad when I see a 10-year-old that's built as good or better than me. Infield playing back, outfield straight away. Osterhout's delivery. And it's in the center field for a base hit. So Dugas started out with a strikeout, but he picked up 2 consecutive hits after that. With 2 outs, that brings up the catcher, Eric Blunt.
Number 29.
Nice effort by the Sterling Heights shortstop out there, Randy.
Danny Wise trying to get to that ball, just could not quite get to it. Take a look at that one more time. Just by the diving attempt of Danny Wise. And an interesting situation here. We've got time called on the field right now. There are 2 outs. I think they're trying to correct that situation. Someone thought there was just 1 out. Eric Blunt looks like a real hard-nosed ball player, the way he rolls up that right-hand sleeve of his jersey there. He's got it all the way up to his shoulder there. It looks like he is ready for action.
Like old Kloszewski. Except he didn't have to roll them up. They were cut.
You remember those days with Kloszewski, Mayor Francis? Kloszewski never had anything past his shoulder. Everything just ended right there with the old Cincinnati Reds.
I was also watching this young man. Reminds me a little bit of Joe Morgan, how he used to pull that up.
And there's a base hit up the middle. Runners now at first and second with 2 outs. So Perry Hall staying alive here in the 4th inning of play.
Runners at first and second. Number 20 comes to the plate. Brian Ware.
That brings up right fielder Brian Ware. Mary, we can't overemphasize. You've just got to be proud of not only the effort that we want to mention that you've put into this, but the effort that the Director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Reynoldsburg, Phil Kaiser, has put into this tournament. Not only has he worked on these diamonds, but he's also been, I guess, the umpire-in-chief for this tournament also.
Phil is a very significant part of the tournament, does a good job, and he believes in the young people of the city. And I think that's most of the battle right there, is believing in the young people and making sure that we got a good tournament.
And if I may personally speak for Coaxial Communications, I know that whenever we come to Reynoldsburg, we're always made to feel at home, as that ground ball goes right to first base for out number 3. Playing first base now, we might mention too, is Greg Kempiste, who formerly was the pitcher, and he moved over to first base. And Mayor Francis now is going to be leaving us, but Mayor, I'd like to thank you for all your help, and once again, another successful tournament here in Reynoldsburg, and maybe we can get, for Dave and I, the Indian Under tournament for next year here in Reynoldsburg.
I hope so. I hope so. It's always a pleasure to have coax out here. I hate to run, but I do have another commitment, and I know, Randy, I'll probably be seeing you at the Reynoldsburg Whitehall game.
Mayor John K. Francis, the Honorable Mayor of Reynoldsburg. Thank you very much for joining us, Mayor Francis. The Mayor giving us a lot of his time and put a lot of work into this tournament. It's great to have him here, and it's great to have you with us, whether you're watching locally in Columbus, Ohio on Coaxial Communications Channel 16, whether you're watching it in Maryland, or whether you're watching it in California, in Michigan, wherever. It's great to have you with us. We're in the middle of the 4th inning, and take a look right now at the left field scoreboard, because we've got the Harry Carey Memorial Singers out there who are singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." It's a treat. Take a look at them out there.
Randy, I'd like to put my 2 cents in there about Phil Kaiser as a resident of Reynoldsburg and having worked down here in baseball camps and summer leagues, etc. The park is very, very well taken care of, and he just does an excellent job down here. Can't say enough about it.
For Perry Hall, we have a pitching change, and on the mound,
you see a new pitcher on the mound right now for Perry Hall, number 27, Danny Brown. And Danny Brown came into this situation in their game earlier today against Fresno and shut out the lights for Fresno. Perry Hall winning that game by a 6-2 count. Danny Brown with ice water in his veins, as I said, in that 6th inning, threw 14 pitches, and all of them were strikes. So Danny Brown will come on through 3 innings earlier, so he has 3 innings of eligibility left, and he'll be facing number 17, Greg Campisi, who'll lead it off. Greg started off pitching. He has moved to first base, and we were talking about the predominance of left-handed hitters that we've been seeing. Once again, here comes another one in Campisi. Just really surprising, Dave, at the age of 10, how many left-handed hitters. We have seen more in this game than we have seen in all the other tournament games combined.
He's a strong-looking hitter up there. He's an imposing figure. He looks like he just hit one out on Main Street.
You say that, he goes around as just a bunt. He takes it, the count goes to 2-1 on Campisi. Remember, Perry Hall, Maryland, again, came through the tournament by defeating Norwood 9-8. That's Norwood, Ohio. 3-1. Perry Hall then defeated Fresno 8-2. Then they lost to the Sterling Heights team, so they have a score to settle. Final score is 15-2 in a 4-inning game. A bouncer up the middle.
Oh, nice
stop by Pastore, but it won't be in time. A nice little hit there by Campisi, but I tell you, another great stop by Pastore. But the Orioles started off with a rally here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 on, nobody out. That brings up center fielder Jimmy Kerr.
Randy, when you stop and think these kids are only 9 and 10 years old and they're diving and making catches like that, if they continue to improve, they're going to have, some of them are going to have some bright futures, I think, in baseball.
Well, I'm going to show you just how dangerous this game can be, I think, in between innings. If in between innings they can get a shot over here, I'm going to show you an injury that yours truly suffered today that you probably won't believe. Take a look at that on the third base camera a little later on. I'll show you what a rough sport this can be for 10 and under, or for 30 and under, or for 40 and under. Or if you're talking about Dave Fay, perhaps even higher. Dave Fay is the head basketball coach at Columbus Independence High School here in Columbus, Ohio. A man with a lot of baseball background, played baseball at Walnut Ridge High School, also was an assistant coach. Were you assisting at Walnut Ridge also?
Yeah, I coached 3 years there,
and you were also
a
standout teacher at Ohio University.
Coach. I don't know about standout. I was on the team down there and put in a lot of time.
Let's put it this way: if Bob Euchre can be Mr. Baseball, then anyone who hits over
right
200
right.
definitely has a chance to get into the Hall of Fame. And we'll show you something here in between innings. We'll take a look at that as Kerr takes the strike. Count is full now on Jimmy Kerr. Sterling Heights Orioles team, another impressive team. Only team to score a shutout in this tournament, shutting out Marion, Ohio 7-0. Then they beat Columbus by a 10-3 count. And there's a drive deep to center field to the fence. The runner's advancing now to second and third, and the runner now at first is trapped behind. And Kerr slides back in, and now the runner from third breaks, but he goes back to the bag. A nice play by Kerr. He got himself a little trapped, but the first baseman came off the bag, and Kerr saw that he could get back safely to first, so he went back. And now Sterling Heights has runners on the corners with nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th inning of play.
Tim Elliott did a good job of cutting the ball off and faking the throw and got the runner hung up between first and second. It was a nice throw in from the outfield. We're trying to relays the first game. That was executed very well.
And once again, we talked about the almost automatic steal of second base. It happens there again as the runner, Jimmy Kerr, advances down to second base. You take that throw and you throw that down to second base, the runner from third quite often will break for the plate. There's a foul ball off to your right-hand side and out of play.
0-2 on the batter, number 13.
Back up to the plate.
Randy, I think if Sterling Heights is going to make some noise in this game, they've got to get a couple this inning. They've got nobody out, runners at second and third, and they're going to have to cash in here this inning, I think, in order to stay in it, because it's getting late.
And that one's fouled off now.
Foul ball. Count stays the same. Ball two.
Campiste leads from third. Jimmy Kerr, the runner down at first, who's now advanced to second from that stolen base.
Ball.
Very generous calling that a stolen base, but Dave, you know, with 10 and under, by the time you make that commitment to make that throw to second base, that runner from third can come into the plate and score that run. Ball just inside.
I'm sure they have a play that they've worked on, but
the pitcher perhaps cuts off the throw.
Yeah, there's several ways you can go about it. But
2-2 pitch is hit to short. Across the diamond in time for out number one. The runner from third scores, and the runner from second advances to third, so make it a 7-2 ball game now. As Campiste comes in with run number 2, and Kerr advances to third, gives Stefani an RBI, and that brings up catcher Doug Essler.
There was no doubt where Tim Elliott was going with the ball on that. He never even looked at home or third. He was going to first base and get the first out there for sure.
And there's a little looper to short. Backtracking and making the play is the shortstop, Tim Elliott. And making a strong throw to the plaintiff. Eric Blunt goes 2 steps up the line to glove and holds the runner Jimmy Kerr at third base.
Number 23, Kerr.
Well, I think we're seeing the difference between a team that might make it to a tournament and a team that makes it to the championship round. These infielders are constantly aware of not only the count, but how many outs there are and where the runners are located, and they know what base to go to. And the outfielders in this game, too, know which cutoff man to hit in this game.
Yeah, Randy, they're making plays again. I've seen a lot of high school players that aren't making the plays these kids are making.
There's a strike on Doug Lipinski. Doug walked in the third inning. Little of size, but strong of heart is Doug Lipinski, and there's a little liner, and second baseman Mike Pastore puts that one away for out number 3. But in the bottom of the 4th inning of play, Sterling Heights answers with another run, so we played 4 complete. The score, Perry Hall 7, Sterling Heights 2. Well, this is what I was going to show you from a little earlier.